Hello and welcome to 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host this evening, Logan Landers. And joining me to talk about the 2021 team preview for the Washington State Cougars is my fellow co-host for the Unscripted Sports Podcast, Jay McLovin. What's up, Jay?
Hey, not too much. Good to be here. Talk a little bit of Washington State football, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, man, talking about the Cougars today. I'm sure we're going to get all into their offense, defense, and who they're going to be playing this year. And I think it's going to be a great show with you, as always, my man. But before we get started, if you guys enjoy this video here today, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, whether you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitch. Also, please go check out our podcast. We upload daily episodes about anything and everything football related. So, Jay, let's get into the meat and potatoes on this one, my man. The Cougars out of Washington State. What do you like about them coming into 2021?
Well, I like to be the Debbie Downer. If I had to say one thing I like about this team, it's going to be their defense. Not going to be the offense right now because there's too many questions on the offense. But what I do like is their defense. It's loaded with experience. They got 10 starters coming back. They allowed 462 yards on 39 points, which isn't too terribly good. But they have a decent pass rush, and they have a decent pass defense. So I would say that, they gave up 307 yards in the secondary, or the secondary gave up 307 yards. So there is some things they need to work on in terms of the defense. But on the other side, if you look at the ball, they have a good little quarterback competition brewing over there between Tennessee transfer Jarrett Guarantano, and then they also have a couple other guys. I think it's Jaden DeLora and Junior Cameron Cooper. And so anytime you have a good amount of quarterbacks to choose from, then I think you're going to get the best of the crop instead of having the least amount. So there is going to be a little bit of quarterback competition this year. There's going to be some questions on this defense. But all in all, I think this is going to be a very good team for the most part. We were talking about their schedule earlier in pre-show, and they do have a little bit of a tougher schedule. They got BYU, Oregon State, Arizona State, Oregon, and then they play the Washington Huskies. So I give them, that's 5 teams right there. If they win 1 or 2, maybe they go 9-4, 8-5, somewhere in that neighborhood, Logan.
Yeah, this is a team with a tough schedule we're going to break down in just a second. But just my initial thoughts on this team is, like you said, this is definitely more of a defensive savvy type of team. But, Jay, even for that, I still need to see more consistency from them. Because let's not forget, last year when they were facing Utah, they had a 28-7 lead at halftime, admirable lead up by 3 scores. And they lost, Jay, 45-28. So I'm going to need that defense to be consistent through 4 quarters. But I do think it helps, though, because they have about 15 guys coming back, both on offense and defense. So they're going to get guys back who know this playbook, who know the system. And I think that's going to help them. And with last year, when, like you said, they gave up some leads that they probably should have held on to, and they could have got a few bigger wins, I think that, losing it's an experience, and you can learn from it better than you can winning. So you just hope that the players who were on the team last year in those tough losses, that they were able to work hard in the offseason, study film, and fix whatever went wrong in those games, and that they can come into this 2021 season fresh and ready to clear their minds, start new. But, Jay, it is not going to be easy because they lost the majority of their special teams guys as well. So they're going to have to pretty much start over there for the most part. Like you mentioned, there is going to be a quarterback battle. We'll see who's going to emerge with that. And for the defense, like I said, I need to see who's going to step up for this team and prove that they want to win every game, play their hearts out. And they're going to have to play hard every freaking game, Jay, because they have a rough schedule. I'm looking here just at a few teams that I see personally. I see Oregon. I see Utah once again, USC. And that's just a few on my radar. But, man, this is a rough schedule if you are a Cougars fan. What do you think about their schedule this year?
Yeah, like I said, I think it's pretty tough, man. I guess I think Oregon, Washington Huskies are going to give them a good shot. BYU is going to give them a good shot. I think 8-5, 9-4. I think more like 8-5 is more of a realistic outset for this team.
Yeah, I could see maybe 6 to 8 wins. I think is a good kind of medium for me, just because they face a bunch of tough teams, and there is still some question marks around this team. There's not a set in stone. These guys are going to come in here each and every
Right.
week and score 30 points and give up only 10 or whatever. That's still not the way this team is set. But there is potential. They have a lot of guys on their team who could have breakout years. And I think the Cougars, who I think they're going to be fine, but I don't see them quite taking that next step this season. I still want to give them a few more seasons, but I think it's going to be a solid year, though. And I want to hear your final thoughts on this team before we wrap things up here tonight.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, I think the best offensive player that's going to show out is going to be that offensive tackle, Abraham Lucas.
Mm.
He's a 3-time All Pac-12 performer. He's got the power to go along with his size. And he's playing right tackle right now, but if they need him to slide over to left tackle or even guard, he can certainly do so. So he gives a team a lot of flexibility on that offensive line. But I do like I said, I do like the play of Jarrett Giordano. He's passed for over 6,000 yards, got 38 touchdowns. But the knock on him is he does have 17 picks. So he does need to be a little bit more accurate. But he needs to be a little bit accurate with the ball. But he's mobile. He can get on the run and he can move. So I think if they could polish him up just a little bit better than what he was at with Tennessee, that's going to be a big difference maker for them. And like I said, if you go back to Jahad Woods, a linebacker guy, I think he's probably their best defensive player. He's a 3-time All Pac-12 performer, got 65 stops in his freshman season, and now he has 319 tackles with 8.5 sacks and 30 tackles for loss. So he's put up the numbers. I think between him on defense, the development of the quarterback, Jarrett Giordano on offense, I think this team was looking pretty good. And all in all, like I said, I think 8-5 is a very realistic number. The key on offense I got for them would just be more accurate with the ball and find your passing identity. So they got to find out who the field general is, number one, and make sure that he can control the amount of turnovers. And then on defense, I have on the defensive side of the ball, I just had them stepping up on the pass defense. They give up a lot of yards to the secondary. So if they can improve that secondary a little bit more, I think they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, our fans know here because we have a pretty dedicated Tennessee Vols fan base here on the show. So whenever they hear the name Giordano, it's mostly a shiver from them. They just kind of get flashbacks from when he played at Tennessee because it feels like he's been playing forever in college. So going over to Washington State now, seeing what he can do if he can snag that starting job. But the key for me, Jay, I think, is going to be not the quarterbacks, but the running backs for this team. I think Max Borgi and Deion McIntosh are probably one of the best 1-2 punches in the Pac-12, to be honest with you. They have a lot of talent. Borgi, while he did miss a few games last year, it's all right. But he finished great. He finished third in the Pac-12 in yards from scrimmage in 2019 with a little bit under 1,500, so not bad at all. And the thing I like about him is he's got 29 touchdowns in just 27 games. So this guy's proven that when he's on the field and when he's fully healthy, he is a tremendous running back for this team. As for McIntosh, he doesn't get as many carries, as much love, but he's still good, though. For a guy who did a great job against Oregon State last year, he ran for 330 yards. He ran for 147 yards against Oregon State. So he's shown flashes, but I think that if you can get those two on the field, if you can get them, get them working good together like a well-oiled machine, and if you can figure out the quarterback situation as well as who's going to kind of step up to be that next big wide receiver, because they did lose 2 starters, let's not forget. I think that Washington State is going to have a solid season, but it's going to be interesting for me, Jay. I'm going to keep a close eye on this team to see how they face up against some of the tougher teams in this division or on their schedule this year, because we saw last year they could have won a few of these tough games, but their defense and their offense just kind of let up at the end. So my goal for this year, if I'm a Washington State Cougars fan, is just complete the mission, man. Win or lose, just play a complete 4 quarters of football and play tough the whole way throughout, and I think that's all you can really ask for in a team who they're not going to get to the Pac-12 championship, I don't think, this year, but give them a few more years. I think let them develop a little bit more, let a few more recruits come in, and we'll see what this team could possibly be up to in the near future. Well, hey, if you guys have enjoyed this video here tonight, first off, thank you so much for watching. You can check out all of our videos on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch. We upload every single week. Also, we appreciate all the likes, comments, and shares you guys have been doing. And also, if you've not done so already, please go and check out our podcast. Just type in 100 Yards of Football. We're available anywhere podcasts are available, like Spotify or Apple Podcast, iTunes, iHeartRadio, even on Audible now with your Amazon account. So we're available over there as well. And, of course, that cannot be done without the amazing people at the Believe Podcast Network who've been helping us now for getting close to a year now. So thank them so much for doing all that for us. And we've had a tremendous ride over there with the podcast, and we're not going to let up because we upload every single day. Well, for my co-host, Jay McLovin, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. It's always been a pleasure talking football with you. I've been your host, Logan Landers. You guys have been listening to the 2021 team preview for the Washington State Cougars. And stay tuned because we have another great team preview for you in just a minute. See you then.